Microphone. All right, here we go. All right, guys, welcome back. I'm pretty excited to bring this to you. It's something that we're going to include with part of this course that I haven't seen in a part of a lot of other courses. And honestly, this winds up being a kick in the pants later because none of these real estate investment courses teach you much about title, and it's really, really important. So I have my longtime friend and lawyer here who also just so happened to own a title company where you can order your searches nationwide. Nationwide. So we'll give you his information at the end. This is Tariq Hussein. Go ahead, Tariq. Tell him a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm an attorney by background. Been mostly around the real estate game and working with title for quite a bit. Worked with a title agency that was mostly in New Jersey, and now we have one nationwide doing residential, commercial, and everything.
Fantastic. So let's get into it, man.
Sure.
Just want to go over the basics of stuff with them, what they're going to cover today. I want you to explain to them what exactly title is, and I don't have the greatest description for it. I mean, I usually tell people this is like some old white people shit. So it's like it was really important to own things.
Yeah.
And what's the importance of it? What is a title search and what's title insurance? And that I really want you to kind of drive home because I have screwed that one up before and accidentally ordered title insurance when I should have a search, and it's just like thousands of bucks. So I'm gonna get right into it, and I'm gonna let you take it away. It's not a book. Tell them what title is.
So the title is basically the ownership. Like this is what gives you the ownership rights over a particular property, right? So what we say in the legal canon, we say that property rights are like a bundle of sticks. So once you own property, you have a bunch of rights that are bundle of sticks, and you can take them apart separately, right? So you have the right to own property, you have the right to rent property, you can mortgage against it, you can do all these things. This is a bundle of rights. When we're talking about title, we're talking about who has those rights. That's what we're talking about. And which one of those bundles has been given away or things like that. So that's what title is.
Okay, so
and the deed is the actual legal document that tells you who has the ownership of this particular property.
So the deed is the actual thing. It's like
it's the actual legal document saying that this is the.
It's like the title on a car.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So what else do they need to know about it? It's just who owns it.
That's what not just who owns it, but like where are those bundles of sticks? So like. Someone can have the title, but someone can have a lien on that title. There's all these encumbrances, or this could be there's issues of easements like this. How far does your property go, and then who owns this part? And if there's like you're allowing your neighbor to use this aspect of it, so now that you're giving away one of those sticks from your bundle. So title is all those things combined.
How far back does it go?
Usually now they're gonna do like a 60-year search.
Okay, I did a flip years ago on a brownstone in Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
Title went back so far it predated the printed press, and like I think John Hancock had a lien on it for like 4.5 cents and like a halfpenny or something. But I mean, it goes pretty far back. It's the recorded history of the ownership of that property since the government was established, or
well, I mean, if you want to go back historically, what happened when people started settling the United States? They would just be granted large parcels of land. When I say large, I mean like the size of entire states, right? And they would subdivide that stuff and then hand out, and they would subdivide those parcels and they would get subdivided. So the title would have to get traced all the way back, right? You'd see who owns it. So somebody owned it all the way down. The problem, and I guess the next thing is the title switch.
Yeah.
Oh, why it's important? Yeah. So the thing is like you want to make sure that when you're buying property that you're going to get those sticks, right? And you get that bundle of sticks. You want to make sure that that none of those sticks are in the wrong place, right? So we have to make sure that the person you're getting title from actually has it, right? So there's a concept in law that you can't convey what you don't own.
Yeah, I almost made a mistake. It's actually I figured a bunch of stuff out. Somebody gave me a deed to get signed for somebody in like 2004, and I did. And then I sold the house. And that person went and got a mortgage because you could do that in 2004. And then they got a mortgage, and I went to the closing, and I brought my deed, and all the lawyers panicked. And I'm like a 25-year-old kid, and they're just shitting their pants, and I don't know why. And they told me that somebody took out a loan to buy something that I didn't legally own. I had a nice discussion. They realized there was no malintent. I was bailing one person out of foreclosure. I was helping a single dad get a place to live with his son. And, rather than sending me to jail or whatever they do, they literally gave me the right paperwork, said bring that back to the seller, had it signed, bring it back, and we closed in I made like 36 grand.
Nice.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, I mean, like, and that's the thing. It's important because if somebody's signing over a deed to you, but that person never had the deed rightfully, then whatever they're giving you is worth nothing.
Just like that stuff you were telling me going on in Egypt, where it's like a back alley deal.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of those countries they don't have good records, and so like the transactions are shady. You may do something in the back alley, but you may not know what you're getting.
Mhm.
So here, like what we're talking about is, so even if the guy who gives it to you, he got it from somebody else, and then that person had the person before him, there's some sort of cloud in the title.
Mhm.
There's some sort of issue, some sort of problem. Now we have an issue here. And the person before you didn't have it rightfully.
Yeah.
And so that's what you need to do the search for. So you got to make sure that you're getting your bundle of sticks.
And I mean, that's something that we really advocate people do after they have a purchase and sales agreement or they have a deed, whether they're going to record it or not, to immediately record like a notice of settlement or even a contract, just so you can see that there's something on title. And I mean, this way you can't go around it without that being removed from title.
Because what's going to happen is you're going to end up with something that you can't convey. So if you're trying to do a flip, you're not going to be able to move this property.
Okay, so here's another question: Why is it so important for lawyers and title companies and mortgage companies to have clear title? Because when I was trying to learn this stuff in the beginning, everybody was telling me that I could not I could not record a deed or title couldn't transfer after a list penance was filed or without mortgages being discharged. And I kind of found out the hard way that that's bullshit just by walking into the courthouse and recording things subject to all the debt. So they're just telling me that because they want to make a buck, or is this just that out of the box?
So yeah, so I mean, like theoretically, you could record a deed subject to whatever encumbrances and whatever things that's on there, right? The problem is that a title company won't, and we didn't get the insurance part, but a title company won't insure that.
Yeah, no, they have to admit that or omit it or something, right?
It has to be omitted, it has to be accepted, because theoretically, when you're taking a deed subject to, you are literally creating a cloud in the title. That's what the process is. You're creating a cloud in the title, which becomes uninsurable. So if it's uninsurable, the title you don't have title insurance. It's not the end of the world. Like title insurance is not necessary. Like it's not absolutely mandatory. But if you don't have it, it could create problems down the line. So at some point, this thing has to be insured.
Yeah, I mean, the way that I typically explain it to people, I take a property out of their name and put it into my LLC or a trust or whatever. A lot of times it's no different than what I've seen lawyers do for people. Just, you bought this property, you want extra protection, let's put it into an LLC.
Right.
So it's the same concept, right?
Yeah, so usually people are doing it from like themselves as an individual to them as an LLC or them as a trust, right?
Yeah.
So and this goes back to the type of deed you're getting, right?
Yeah.
So when you're getting a deed from someone else at an arm's length transaction, it's going to be what they call a bargain and sale deed, right? Or a general warranty deed. Basically, this means that the person giving you the deed is telling you that the title, like this deed is clear, it's perfect, and the title is perfect. And if there's an issue with this title, then I have to come and defend you on this.
Okay.
Right? When you're transferring from like yourself to yourself as an LLC or yourself to trust, whatever, usually we're quick claiming the deed, right? And this what we're saying is that I'm giving you whatever I got. Okay? No promises, no nothing. Whatever rights I have, I'm giving you those rights. And you're assuming that this person has all the rights, right? Now, if you're doing it for yourself, you obviously know you're going from one thing to the other. It's not a big problem. But if you're getting a quick claim deed from someone you don't know that well, you're basically, the quick claim deed is like you're getting whatever this person had. But if this person had nothing, then you're getting nothing.
Yeah, I had to turn around and pay off people's child support and all kinds of crazy shit to get
exactly.
sold, which hey, it's for the kids. Why not? So. All right, so what's the title search? I know I told everybody once they get a property, they get a purchase and sales agreement, authorization to release, telling them to order a title search and order a payoff from all the lenders.
Right.
So we ordered a title search. I can't even read title. It looks like a horrible newspaper. It's all different fonts, handwritten shit. So
yeah, I mean, like they're going.
What is a title search? Because I usually go, what's broke? How do I fix it? And what do I got to get signed and to help me?
So title search is they're going to go back 60 years. They're going to trace the whole transfer of titles, right, to make sure that every time title transfer from one person to the next was done properly, right? So who those transfers were, they're going to go back 60 years. And this is going to be based on the county records, right? So this is based on what's recorded. Okay. Then they're going to search liens. What was the liens against the title, and what happened to those liens? Were they discharged? Were they cleared? So forth, right? So it's going to come up with any kind of liens. You know, obviously the mortgage is usually the first one, and then other liens pop up, like you said, child support, things like that, right?
Yeah.
They're going to do a judgment search on the person's name, whoever on title. So if these people have outstanding judgments, they're going to be probably have to be cleared.
And they take their social security number and they look for other things. Okay. And then the other thing I tell them to do too is when they're getting a property under contract, to get all the paperwork on the house in an old closing packet, if possible, because one of the things that I've noticed a lot of times is there are going to be things on title from like the previous owner that I got to get rid of.
Right. And
if I have a title policy ensuring that those things were paid off, the new title company usually accepts that it's less work for everybody.
Yeah, because if the old title company give them insurance, that means that they're insuring everything that happened before that point.
Okay.
Right. So then you're pretty good usually if there's title insurance there. Now something could come up and it'd be a claim on title, but that's not going to be very common once the title is insured.
Okay, so
I just want to add one more thing. So when they do judgment searches, they're searching the person's name, right? There's sometimes what happens is that it'll pop up judgments of someone who has a similar name.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, buy a house from anybody with a generic name, John Smith.
So you got to go through this whole process of clearing all that stuff.
Jorge Rodriguez. Yeah. There's a lot of them. There's like 1,000 in New Jersey. It's nuts. So if that's a title search, then the way that a title insurance has always been explained to me is, number one, yes, it is insurance, but it's the only form of insurance where if everything is done properly, there's a 0% chance of a claim.
Right.
And it only insures from that day forward, looking back. So if something pops up that they missed, the reason why you paid $2,000-3,000 for title insurance is because you guys are going to pay that off if you missed it.
Correct.
Okay, so
title insurance is the only insurance that's backward looking, right? So every other insurance you get protects you from that day forward. Title insurance is the only one that protects you backwards, right?
Gotcha.
So every transaction, if the title company, and that's why the underwriters will go through a lot of trouble to make sure the title is clear. So if they're 100% sure that this thing is passing without encumbrances, without liens, without judgments, they're gonna do. We didn't talk about some of the other searches. There's Thailand searches. There's the Patriot Act searches. There's all kinds of other searches they do, right? Which Thailand searches says like what. The way the title flow is, right? There's searches on the flood zones, that there's parts in the flood zone. So these things also are searched and discovered, right? So when they make sure that all this stuff is done, and then the underwriter is like, okay, now we're willing to insure it, because now they're putting, themselves on the line. So now at this point, once everything's clear, they're going to insure this.
Okay.
And the likelihood, like you said, if they've done everything properly, the likelihood of something popping up is slim to none.
Yeah. How often does a title search go wrong?
I mean, I've seen it.
I've seen it too, where they've missed something.
It's very rare. It's very rare. I mean, once they've taken the chance, all the work to clear it, there's probably not going to be.
But the bottom line is, if I'm buying a house or I'm selling a house with title insurance, that's taking me off the hook, and it's putting the title company on the hook for
putting the underwriter.
The underwriter.
Yeah. So
let's have that conversation really quick. There's only so many underwriters in this country, right? We're like Stewart,
Chicago, Old Republic, AmTrust is a.
That's kind of about it, right?
Player, Westcor.
So who do you?
5 or 6.
You're an underwriter then, or?
No, we're partnered with. So our title company, in order for us to be nationwide, is AmTrust, which is an underwriter, has their own title company under it.
Okay.
And what they're doing, basically, we're affiliating ourselves with them, so that we can be nationwide.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Anything else they got to know about title insurance?
Look, the thing about title insurance is that, it's obviously the best to have it. When you're doing things subject to this and that, you're probably not going to be able to get it because you're clearing the cloud title.
Yeah.
But that means that at some point you're gonna have to clear that. Right? At some point it has to be cleared in title insurance, because when you go to sell the property, if you're going to go flip it and you want to sell it, having the old title insurance is very important, because it could be problematic.
Yeah, it's always been a big help.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's recap this. Just one more time, so you drill it home. What's title? Why is it important? What's the title search and what's title insurance? And if there's something we missed here that they should know, like what's a Patriot Act search? I never heard of that one before. Is that why I get the certificate of non-foreign status signed?
So title. So just to recap the thing, the title is basically it's who owns this bundle of sticks, which we call property rights, right? Where are all those bundle of sticks, right? And the title search is done to kind of check in the last 60 years what's happening. Does anybody have encumbrances, liens, judgments? Is there a flood zone going through here? What are the water rights issues and things like that? So it searches all that stuff and it presents it like, here's the things that could be problematic about this. The attorneys and title officers will work through and clear out these things, and then it could be insured. So that's the whole title process, the title insurance process. Now, what this thing doesn't mention is the settlement process, which is something that's not necessarily it's not required to be done by title companies, but it's most commonly done by title companies.
Take me through it.
So the settlement process is once you've done the searches and say the judgment comes up or this comes up or that comes up, and then you clear those issues, where judgments get paid off or discharged or whatever, and you clear all those issues. Now the title company gives the clear to close. So now we got to get ready for the closing.
Gotcha.
And so there has to be escrow, right? So, if there's a lender involved, the lender is going to send the loan docs to the title company, and the title company is going to sit with the borrower, get all those loan docs signed, get all that stuff notarized. The lender puts all the money in escrow with the title company. The title company holds it, and then once everything is clear, the title company then is going to release all the checks, right? So,
Gotcha.
brokers' commissions, paying the water bills, and tax, city county tax, and then they're going to pay the seller is going to get paid. All that stuff gets paid out by the seller, and that whole process we call settlement.
So they're dispersing all the funds.
So it's taking in all the money escrow and then dispersing all the funds, and this is the settlement, and this is the closing, right? And this is when the deed gets signed, and then usually the title company will also do post-closing stuff like recordings and things like that.
Gotcha. Okay. I mean, I'm definitely drawing a striking conclusion here to like marriage, where I guess the ring is like a down payment, and then ultimately she's going to take your last name as a fourth title.
Right.
No way you guys can insure that?
The marriage?
Yeah.
It's a good
question.
It's a good business model.
Yeah, I don't know.
Insuring
You
marriage.
might be paying out quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you're insuring the past.
It's quite a bit of a gamble. You got a high rate of losing.
Yeah, 50-50, flip a coin. All right, so if they want to order a title search, and I could bring this up, but I could even mirror the screen if you want to like take them through a process.
Sure.
So, what? Give them a plug to your company real quick here, and let's see if we can do this. ASTER.
Astra, ASTRA.
And let's try this. Share screen. Okay. Share. I don't want to get a million screens here, but we're going to dial this in. And boom. So we should be on there now.
Yeah.
So take me through it. What do we got to do here?
Okay, so firstly, we added the get a quote thing just in case you want to see what the cost of title might be. So we added this thing here.
Okay.
But what I want to really focus on right now is the order title part.
Order title.
And just letting you know that for I guess your students or the people that are, we're going to create a branded page just for your so they'll have like their own link and they come in here and they
That'd be fantastic. We could send this out to them with all the videos.
Right.
Okay, so
it's pretty straightforward. The first thing you want to do is what kind of search are you doing, right? Is it purchase or refi? Most likely it's going to be purchase.
Okay.
Commercial, residential. It's going to be residential. This is going to be the name of the person who's asking, right?
Gotcha.
And then the emails. Yeah. So your email. This email is the one that's going to be primarily. So the title when the search comes back, it's going to come back to this email.
Okay.
And the phone is in case they have any major problems, they're going to reach by phone. But usually most of the stuff gets resolved by email.
Okay.
Right, and then you're going to put in your subject property address, which is which property are we talking about here?
Street Hackensack, Jersey, and okay. So I actually put that in the right line. Wow. 07601. Gotcha.
Now, the next table here deals with who's the seller, the owner. So this is going to be, sometimes there's multiple people involved. So we have, 5 lines for if there's 5 different people on the deed.
Okay.
And then you're going to put the entity type also. So is this a company? Is this an individual person? Is this a corporation?
Individual.
That stuff, right? The seller's email. If you got it, you can notice that these, so the areas that don't have an asterisk are not required. So this is not required, but if you have it, obviously this information helps. But if you don't have it, you can still put this order through.
That's you. Okay.
So you can leave that blank.
Okay.
It's not required.
Okay.
Buyer, so who's buying? And again, sometimes there's multiple people buying, so we have a table to list the buyers.
Okay.
Okay, and the buyers. So sometimes people have this information from the get-go, and it's great to just put it in. Some people don't have this information, and so therefore we don't mess with it, and we just put it in later, right? Go back up. This was important. Right. So it's block and lot. If you have it, you can put it in. It's great. If you don't have it, it's fine. We can get this later from the description when the search comes in. But if you have the block and lot, it helps. Sometimes it helps when there's similar sounding names. So that
Gotcha.
purchase price is going to be, that's important. You see the red star there, so that's going to be an important number to put in there. The lender, if it's a lender, right? So if you don't have a lender, you just leave it blank. And then loan amount, you put a number there. If it's a cash deal, you just put a 0. Right? And then if there's any other people you want involved in this correspondence, you can add like additional email. Like you have somebody else, you want to get involved. You have executed contract, you can just upload it directly.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So you can just upload your contract.
Mess this guy out of here. A lot of stuff in there.
and it's not necessary, so you don't have to, right? The coordination fee, you're going to leave blank, and you're going to submit that, right? And if you submit it, this is going to go. So this is going to go directly into our system.
Well, I laugh at that when I see it.
And so now I'm going to alert them and say, look, ignore this.
They're not going to be able to find the property.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, so it feeds directly in.
Okay.
What happened? Yeah. Go ahead.
Probably because I missed the field.
Oh, did you miss a red one? I think you did. Go over there.
May not have added up completely.
That should be good.
Please wait.
So for some reason it's being slow. I don't know.
My internet is slow.
Yeah, it should go through immediately. And once that happens, so then it's going to say, we received your order, and then you're going to get an email back with the applicant email copied. And then so you're going to get a confirmation email saying this went through, right?
Okay.
And then and then you're going to email back from the title officer. They're going to say they're going to verify this, and then they're going to put the search in. We've been doing searches pretty fast. I mean, in New Jersey residentials, we've been getting search returns pretty quick.
What's quick? Day, 2 days?
Yeah, 2 days.
Wow. Okay, that's super quick. It's not,
I'm not going to guarantee anything. Sometimes some properties are more difficult. Sometimes issues come up, and then it might take a little bit longer.
What makes it difficult?
Like it's hard to get to something. Some like they're doing county searches and searches, and then maybe there's some sort of specific issue with this property, the way that it's structured, that has easements and stuff like that, that they have to kind of dig in a little bit more. So it's more stuff there, and it takes a little bit longer to get that information. So sometimes it can take a little bit longer. It should never take longer than 4 or 5 days.
Gotcha. Yeah, I usually give them about a week.
Yeah,
give me a week. Tell the seller you hear back from me next week.
Yeah.
Give me 5 to 7 days. I'll hear from you soon.
So you can, once you order this, and then this puts the orders in, and then now if you decide that, once you see the results and you're like, hey, this deal is no good, then you just advise them, and then it ends there, and there's a search fee. If the deal is good and you want to go forward with it, they won't charge a search fee up front. Then it'll just be applied to the
so you
transaction.
Give everybody a little credit line. So how much is the search fee?
It's $250.
Okay, that ain't too bad.
Yeah.
Not too bad at all.
And then yeah, so I mean, if you're gonna do a deal, like they're not gonna charge you search fee.
No, no, absolutely not. It's usually what I do a whole bunch of searches, and then first one I clear the tab, and then we go back up again. You just clear the tab. So that's pretty awesome, dude.
Yeah, that's it. And then it's simple. So then you can keep track of that stuff, and then we have a we're involved here. So the title officers, obviously, you can email them back directly and talk to them. We're also available. So if there's a problem and you need help quickly and you have a question or something, we can get involved. We have the dashboard to go in and see what's going on with your search in particular. So we're available to answer any questions. The title officers are available, and then we've been able to turn these around pretty quickly.
All right, awesome. So I'm sure it's a pretty great resource for these people to use. And I mean, is there anything else they need to know?
No, that's pretty much it. I think we covered everything.
All right, guys. Tariq Hussain, title piece. Hopefully, you have a better understanding of that. We'll see you in the next module. Thanks for coming out.
Thanks, man.
All right,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Bye for now.